So how do you overcome mental blocks like that where your mind's telling you something that you know is actually a possibility?
Slow progress is still progress. Don't get discouraged. People get so lost in comparison, and comparison is the thief of joy. When you start comparing yourself to other people and going down that rabbit hole, it's just gonna ruin your time. Like, people always forget why we started doing this, because we love riding. That was my first good Harley crash in the streets.
How did it change you?
I would say the most important thing was it humbled me a lot, and I think it got me out of that little ego trip that I was starting to have, which I shouldn't even have had in the first place. And I think people don't like talking about that.
It's not an easy thing to admit. It's embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing.
Don't overthink it, because then it's gonna fuck you up.
I'm good.
Or you already fucked up. You locked in? You should drink a
in.
beer before you started.
I don't drink.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me neither, really.
I mean, like, last weekend I had a beer and I was like, I just don't care to drink. It's not like I'm, like super sobriety or anything. It's just, I just don't like alcohol. I don't like the person that it turns me into, so I just don't drink.
Yeah, Bruce doesn't really drink. I don't really drink, but I will.
Yeah, it's cool here and there.
Yeah, here and there.
It depends the vibe. I have to be with, like, the right people. I just said like again, but I really
don't overthink it.
It's so bad, but I have to be around the right people, because if I'm with the wrong people and I get really messed up, like, I'll just it's not a good time.
So how do you function in the stunt scene if you don't drink?
I'm high on life. I'm just so happy to be like doing this. Anything involved with this is so much fun to me, and I love it so much that I don't need to do anything.
Well, because I have a hard time now that I stopped drinking, because I used to go out and party and get fucked up all the time, but like I have a hard time going out with anyone now because I don't want to get on that level anymore, and everyone else around me does.
Yeah.
And so like my old friends, like, well, they're still my friends, but they knew me when I was still that party chick.
Yeah.
They think that I'm still that chick, and I'm not that chick anymore, and it's hard to be around it, because they're like, come on, take a shot. And I'm like, I can't take a shot anymore. I'm going to black out.
Yeah,
once I go down
hard.
that rabbit hole, I'm gone.
I feel that. It's just, I've always been good with peer pressure, and I never let, like, even when I was riding or when I was younger, skateboarding, BMX, I always had a good, I was always good at not allowing peer pressure to get to me. Mm-hmm. So I think that's like dragged into my adult life too. And sometimes, you want to, and I'll go out and everybody's having a good time and it sounds fun, but I just think about, or if everybody's messed up, I want to be the dude that's okay to drive everybody home and make sure my friends are home and safe. I don't really have a desire to do it, but every once in a while it's fun.
Yeah. Is it because you just want to be that guy that's like, I don't know, above the influence kind of thing, or is it because you just don't care for it?
I just don't, like, it's just the person, I know that person that alcohol will turn me into, and it's not a good look. And to me, I'm missing out, like, a little bit of fun. Some of these people will be like, oh, you're not going to have as good of a time if you're not drunk. I'm having a blast. I'll be in the club sober, standing on top of the table, singing white girl music. I don't need to drink alcohol to have fun. I just like being around people that I like and having a good time without it. And then I just have the benefit of being able to, take people home, or just be the one, maybe the mediator in a situation or something. It's nothing like I'm above it. I don't think badly on anybody that drinks. That's your life. I could care less what anybody does with their own life as long as it's not affecting me. So I just cruise.
At least you can enjoy your time around that, because I cannot. I have to be on the same level as everyone, or else I'm like, I'm going home. Can't do it.
And I feel that sometimes it is that way.
Annoying.
Yeah, it is, and it looks fun. You're sitting there and everybody's having a good time, but I just don't let it get to me. I like riding. Like, on these trips, like, I don't really come to party at all. I come here to ride. And the partying is just a benefit of it. At some point in the night, you can't ride the lot all day. There's no lights or whatever. So we're going to go hang out and do stuff. But I really come to ride. Like, I drive out here, or I go to, like, Tahoe or wherever. Any of these events that I'm, like, going to ride. I love riding, and I'm not traveling to party.
For the audience that doesn't know who you are, can you tell them who you are and where you're from?
My name is Travis. I'm 23. I'm originally from Torrance, California. I lived in Long Beach most of my life, and I currently live in Huntington Beach. Rode motorcycles my entire life. I think my dad had me on a dirt bike before I could walk. There's like old pictures of him like with a leash tied to the back of the bike, like chasing me, because I was so little I could barely hold myself up on it. And motorcycles have been everything.
It's been a part of your life.
Yeah, since day one, pretty much.
So your dad rode too, then?
Yeah, my dad was an old motocross dude, and I was a dirt bike kid pretty much my whole life until like early adult when I first got my Harley, and I just stopped riding moto. It was just not like I don't have anything against it. It's just the Harley kind of took over. I have a lot more fun on it.
What kind of dirt bike riding?
I like track racing. When I was younger, it was that was all me and my dad. That was me and my dad's fun time. Like when he had a day off work, he's, hey, we're going to the track, and that was when I spent all my time with him. My dad worked nights, so I didn't get to see him that much. So that was our time together. So I connected my whole family to riding motorcycles, whether it be in the desert or on the track. It was just dirt bikes and camping, and the desert was pretty much my whole childhood. And then I think a lot of dirt bike kids get into the Harleys, and you see some of these kids that were dirt bike kids that are very talented on a motocross bike, and they jump on a Harley and they start killing it instantly.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
It's like I don't know.
And they have a sick style.
Yes, you can tell the kids that rode dirt bikes for sure, or the dudes, not kids, but the dudes that rode dirt bikes, you can just they have a different style to them. They do, and it's really dope to see.
Can you explain the difference in style that you notice?
Well, I think with me riding dirt bikes my whole life, like you get really connected with your bike, and I think riding motocross is it's super difficult, and you get to the point where you're so connected with your bike that you know what your bike's gonna do or whatever. Like you get put in a situation and you know how your bike's gonna react. And I think a lot of the dirt bike kids carry that to the Harley. Like if you were only say just rode street bikes, like that's what introduced you into or road bikes, I guess you could say, like Harleys, street bikes, whatever. And you learn on those kind of bikes. I think it's not like it's bad or anything. It just creates a different style. I think the dirt bike kids, there's just a flow factor of the dirt bike. You see dirt bike dudes throwing whips, and everybody on the track, no matter how fast you are, has a different flow and a different style, and I think that translates to the Harley. And you could just jump on that thing and kind of throw steez in it because of everything that riding motocross had taught you. It was a pretty easy transition for me. Not stunt riding. Stunt riding was hard for me, actually. I did not have easy.
Well, tell me about that transition, though, because how did you go from moto to the Harley?
Well, originally, my dad was a street bike dude. So when I bought my Harley, I wanted a Harley so bad because I saw all the dudes that were starting to kill it. It was probably 3-4 years ago. And I was like, I want to do that one day. I actually saw a video of Ryan Cruzy saying, if you want to do this, you need to buy a 110. Because I was saving up to buy a Harley, so I was like, I'm going to take some money out of my savings that I'm going to go buy a Harley with, and I'm going to buy a 110. So it's funny because I actually bought a little dirt bike to teach me how to ride the Harley. And I literally rode every day. I would come home from work, get my 110, and ride in front of my parents' house for 3-4 hours every night until the neighbors were yelling at me. And I'd break myself off. So many stupid little injuries and road rash just learning foot brake in front of my house. And I told myself, I was like, once I can I had a list of tricks. I wanted to hand drag my 110 and coast no handers, kind of just to have really, really good foot brake application.
Before you moved on to that big bike?
And then one day I was just cruising down PCH and I saw my buddy Jared I didn't know at the time. He pulled up next to me, and I look at him, and he goes, clutches up a wheelie from when the light turned green. He just clutches up a wheelie, and I would look, and it was like, no offense, Jared, but it was like the sickest power wheelie I've ever seen in my life. Like, he barely got through the intersection. He was on one, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I was like, I need to go talk to that dude. He knows how to wheelie a Harley. So
how did you just diss him and give him a compliment at the same time?
It's backhanded. I love that dude, so we're good.
What exactly are you guys doing April 2nd to the 6th? Because I know for sure I'm going to be at WestWorld of Scottsdale, the home of Arizona Bike Week. Me and my Della Crew girls will be there all week, but Thursday we'll be meeting up at Harley-Davidson of Scottsdale at 10 a.m. to kick off a ride going to WestWorld. This is a one-stop hangout for all of Arizona Bike Week. You can enjoy food trucks, vendors, flat track racing, stunt shows. We got Harley-Davidson of Scottsdale's Used Bike Corral, Russ Brown's Builder Showcase, and bike shows such as Rat's Holes, Custom Bike Show, and Sound Bully's Audio Competition. They even have nightly concerts in the Rock Yard presented by Progressive Insurance. And these bands includes Jackal, Mudvayne, Stone Temple Pilots, and Five Finger Death Punch. And only $4 beers, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. So put your kickstands up and ride into Arizona Bike Week, located at WestWorld of Scottsdale. We'll see you guys there.
But it was awesome. It was my first, like, I'd never seen it in person before. Actually, I might have been to one Senders Only show, but nothing like, right there in front of me.
That was your, like, moment.
We were in the streets. I was on PCH cruising through it was crazy. So I pull up on the next red light, and I stopped him, and I was like, dude, I really want to, like, learn how to do that. He's like, you should come ride with a couple of our buddies. And we ended up going on a ride that's started in COVID, and it's a really sick ride in Southern California that it's like a car show. And then when COVID was happening, nobody could, like, mingle, so they would just meet there and everybody would kick it away from each other, and then they'd go on a cruise. So we started doing, like, taking the bikes there, and we would, like, lead the ride on bikes. And that's how I met Sean Longhorn. And so when I met Longhorn, I don't know if he saw some potential or something, but he kind of, like, took me under his wing. He was one of the only dudes that was really local that was actually riding, like, really good at that point. All of us, it was like me and Cyrus trying to learn, and then Sean was just, like, kind of just mentoring us. And that's when, to be honest, the transition happened, because I hadn't really wheelied that bike at all. I had tried, and burnout after burnout, you can't get it to hook, or it comes up really fast and you panic, slam your front end down. How everybody learns how to, like, I think clutching a Harley up is probably the hardest thing about learning how to wheelie a Harley. So yeah,
it's super picky.
Yeah, and I feel like it's so crazy because every bike is different. Like, even if you have two identical dynas, like tire or gearing or engine, like, they might be identical, but they don't wheel. Like, you have to.
They don't feel the same.
Yeah, they do not feel the same. And my bike's been totaled a couple times now, so, like, I ride it, and if I ride somebody's, like, perfectly straight bike that's never been, like, kick flipped or whatever, like, I don't like it. I'm used to my bike riding, like, a little crooked. So
oh my gosh, that's so funny you say that.
Yeah, it's like I'm used to it being, and it's not bad. My bike is not bad at all. It's just not perfect anymore. It's not, that bike has been through it with me.
It's bent.
Yeah, so it's like you get two identical bikes, same model, same year, whatever. They do not ride the same, and you gotta go a little bit faster or a little slower, let the clutch out, with more RPM or a little less. And I think that's the hardest part about explaining, because I'm sure you guys get it all the time still, is, if somebody asks you, I just want to learn, like, explaining that to them is so hard. There's so many things, like, factors that go into it, suspension settings, or, if you're really just trying to learn how to clutch your Harley up, you just tell them, I always just put a 777 on it, and you have to feel it out. It's hard.
What would your advice be to someone trying to learn?
Would
you tell them to learn on a 110 now?
Yeah, absolutely. A 110, a Honda Monkey, Grom, anything like that, a scooter.
Yeah, anything to learn balance point first.
Anything that's a foot brake. Anything that has a foot brake. Even, like, I could see a dude getting on a Sur-Ron or something like that with a foot brake and then jumping on a Harley. And I know a lot of those kids that are, like, There's one here with Ethan riding a Sur-Ron, and he's a super dope kid. And if you put that dude on a Harley, give him a foot brake and put him on a Harley in a couple years, because all those kids are like, what, 14, 15, like around there. By the time they're 18, insane. They're going to be insane.
Unreal.
Yeah, and the Harley thing isn't that hard. But, like, I'm not trying to downplay it, but I think once you have foot brake, it's more of just getting over all the mental blocks, because throwing a trick for the first time is always the hardest, like getting worked up or like feeling comfortable. So that would be a good point. If you're trying to learn, be 100% confident in your bike. Like, don't have any doubts. Be confident in your bike and be comfortable. I think comfortability is like the best part. If you're comfortable on your bike, you're going to be comfortable throwing a trick. You're going to be comfortable doing whatever. So, yeah. Or I'm trying to think of.
But it's hard because you can be comfortable on it just riding straight.
Of course.
But doing a wheelie is so different because you need like you were saying, it's so specific, and you need all these. Everything matters, like suspension, tire, front and rear suspension.
Yeah.
Literally everything. Seat.
Well, I mean, there's like
literally everything.
Yeah, it is a list. It's a list. I don't think some people that are getting into it don't realize how expensive it is to really set a Harley up. Like,
unreal.
Harleys are expensive in the first place, and the bikes that we all ride are getting more and more non-existent. They're discontinued.
That's probably why our niche is so small.
It literally, because you have to spend a good amount of money on a bike, and then to have somebody, like, if somebody hit me up and they're like, hey, I want to build a bike similar to yours, to give them that parts list, like, I don't even want to know.
Oh, I have one on our website, and when I was going through Bruce's bagger specifically, I was like, what the fuck? I can't believe how much your bike costs to build.
It's insane.
Unreal, especially once you get into the motor shit.
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, like, for everyone watching, I could not wheelie a bagger without his motor setup. I could. I rode a stock one in a wheelie, but it takes forever to get into a wheelie, so it's like you can't do it in a show.
Well, no. Yeah,
it takes a whole
totally
damn
different.
show, a lot to get it up in a wheelie.
Yeah. So that's actually a good point too. Is like a lot of the dudes that are here right now, you could get on a stock Dyna and you can wheelie it. You could scrape the fender.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Once you learn like how to get a Harley up, you can do it on pretty much any bike. It takes a little bit of time, I would say. Like, if I jumped on Cyrus's bike right now,
30 minutes or something.
Yeah,
to figure
give me
it out.
half an hour and I'll probably be able to get it up and like do some stuff. But I'm just so comfortable on my bike that it's just hard to explain to people that, because when you're learning, if you dumped a fully built stunt bike on a dude that already knew foot brake and like was learning how to wheelie a Harley, they'd get so good so fast.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
If you gave them all the tools and just, here you go, learn, like, insane. You can get it quick. It's just more about being like, that's why I think being comfortable, having your bar, like, you can ask. I'm sure you guys get it too. What bars and risers do you run? What everybody asks that. That's like a really common DM, and you can get info from everybody, but it really comes down to like how you feel on your bike. And how you want it to feel. Yeah, because everybody's like, oh, I'm this tall, I run this seat or whatever. What bars and risers should I run? And we might be the same height, but I might like my bars an inch lower or a little bit rolled back or, so you can take pointers from people. And it's always really hard for me to explain that to people because that's an investment. Like, bars and risers are expensive. And you can't return them. No, you put those on and you're running them until you change it. And so it's really, though, honestly, coming from the sport bike scene to the Harley, it's not that big of a deal if you get the wrong bars and risers. No. Like, it doesn't make that much of a difference because you're not doing that much of technical shit that requires. Yeah. I mean, you're only using your throttle and your clutch. So as long as it's like, it's not like handbrake. Yeah. If you're learning technical handbrake shit. It's not the most important. Like, no, you can learn on it. I learned on like 14-inch T-bars. Like my hand, I was doing. That's okay. That when
When I say it doesn't matter, that matters.
That matters. I have pictures and my arms are like above my head. It's not good.
Just get like pointed in the right direction,
Yeah,
and then just stick with it. Because once you start changing shit, like, oh fuck, let me try something else. A month after you just started learning on these, it's just gonna make you regress, and you have to start all over again. Because any little change just throws you off.
Yeah, it really does.
You know,
you get so comfortable on your bike, and like one of my biggest fears when I was learning no-handers was I was always terrified to let go and like not catch the bars, when it starts coming down.
And then
TJ actually told me, he was like, dude, it's like in your head. That's a mental block. If anybody knows what a mental block is, that's your mind telling you like putting fear in your head. But you ride I ride that bike more than anything. I know where those bars are. So you get that in your head. You might be scared, but when it comes down, like fight or flight, the bike's coming down, your mind's going to put your hands back on the bars.
So how do you overcome mental blocks like that, where your mind's telling you something that you know is actually a possibility?
Slow progress is still progress. So that's like one thing I've tried to like explain to a lot of people when they ask me about this is don't get discouraged. People get so lost in comparison, and that guy's let's say some dude hops on a Harley. Nate is a great example. Do you know Nate? Nate Tech on Instagram. It's Nate C. He has the long hair with the purple Dyna, or blue, my bad.
Maybe.
He rides with Cyrus and me a lot.
I think so, yeah.
So he's only been riding Harleys for like 8 months, and he's insane. Like he throws elbows. Damn. Like he'll walk his bike down the street doing switchbacks, and he's one of my favorite people to be around. He's such a good dude. So I could see like me when I was starting getting upset at that. Like, why is he so good so fast? How does he do that?
What's wrong with me?
Exactly. But comparison is the thief of joy. And when you start comparing yourself to other people and going down that rabbit hole, it's just going to ruin your time. Like, people always forget why we started doing this, because we love riding. They get so lost in numbers and why is that guy doing this? Why is he getting all these opportunities? Why, like, people get lost. And I think the easiest way to get over some fear like that is keep calm, keep telling yourself that slow progress is still progress. When I was learning no-handers, I would drop back and I would literally just open my hands. I would keep my palms on the handlebars and I would just open my fingers, and I'd let the bike coast until I would feel comfortable, and then I'd maybe take one hand off and then leave, like, super slow progress. But slow progress is going to eliminate those crashes that were unwarranted because you were trying something that's out of your league.
That's going to hold you back for months. So when you are comparing yourself to someone that is just naturally a beast at stunt riding, how do you emotionally deal with that to overcome that feeling so that you don't become like a hater?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's very easy to do. It's very easy to do that in this industry. To be honest, I think when I had a really bad crash and I was just starting to get some traction and a couple companies were noticing me and I thought I was the shit, and I think everybody goes through that little ego trip. Maybe it was just me, I don't know. But.
Tell me about the crash before you get into that. I want to hear about that though.
Yeah, so we were just riding. I went out to Vegas with a couple of homies for TNT, the stunt ride, and we rode all night, and it was butter. It was super, like, everybody was safe, no crashes, just good times, and we actually went back to the Airbnb, and I should have drove. I swear. Actually, I'm going to be honest, I'm not mad at that crash. That crash was probably one of the better things to happen in this. I think it straightened my head out, and it did bring a lot of opportunity to me, which just sucks, but you know how it goes. Crash videos always do insane.
No, I don't know how it goes.
Well, I'm not saying...
No, I want to know.
But I'm saying, like, everybody's crash videos pop.
So what was the benefits of crashing, and what changed you after your crash?
Well, I wouldn't say that, like, don't go crash to do this.
I saw you doing some therapy in one of the videos.
Yeah, so, that one so to keep going on what happened. So we just left the Airbnb. It was literally to ride from the Airbnb to go get dinner. We weren't on the stunt ride anymore. It was literally just for fun. We turn out of the driveway, and my boy Casey from Hive Crew, Casey Fulton, was filming that. And I was just, you know, like I said, I might have been a little ego driven that time, and I thought I could do whatever. So I just dropped back really hard, like super fast, and went to do a hand drag, hit my fender before my hand even touched the ground, and it lifted my tire off the ground, and I just started sliding. The bike landed on my foot, and yeah, it was a good one. That one, my bike was destroyed.
What happened to your foot?
Broke my foot and 3 toes, like the 3 middle toes. It was so funny. I have a picture of my foot, and it's so swollen and purple, but my big toe and my little toe were fine. Like, they weren't broken. So it's just the 3 middle toes were all purple.
Like the peg or something?
I don't know. We think it was the primary, because I was hooked, and I somehow got very lucky to get unhooked, and it just kind of rolled onto my foot, and then it did a kickflip, and I was tumbling down the road. But it was actually not, like, it wasn't horrible. Like, I definitely could have got worse off. I was very blessed to walk away with that. I ran to my bike. My bike, the throttle ground the throttle tube into the handlebars wide open. So my bike's sliding down the road, like spinning in circles, just banging rev limiter. And by the time I had stopped, like, rolling and got my footing, I knew something was wrong with my leg, but I was like, no, like, I'll be all right. And I start running to my bike, and it's probably like 100 feet down the road at this time. It's just still banging limiter and just spinning in circles. It was wild. That was my first good Harley crash in the streets. I had a couple good ones at the lot and practicing, but that
one changed you.
Yeah.
How did it change you?
Well, I mean, I would say the most important thing was it humbled me a lot. And I think it got me out of that little ego trip that I was starting to have, which I shouldn't even have had in the first place. And I think people don't like talking about that stuff.
Well, I love that you're willing to talk about it, because I feel like I've gone through that transition, and the reason why I feel like the podcast is so good is because I'm open about talking about that stuff, and I try to pull it out of everyone. So it's sick that you're like, you're so self-aware, and you notice that, and you're confident enough to admit it, because it's not an easy thing to admit. It's embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing. And it's really embarrassing when you go through something like that. Like, you feel all like hot shit, and like I said, I shouldn't have even been feeling like that.
What made you feel like hot shit in the beginning?
I think it's
before
just like
the wreck.
I don't even know, to be honest. I think it was just that was probably right around the time where I felt myself progressing fast. So it took me a while to get like decent enough to feel like confident to throw tricks. And I had just rode like my first comp, and rode a show like maybe a month before. So that wasn't really a show.
Professionally, you're starting to progress.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like, I'm out here, like, I'm the shit kind of thing. And I saw that happening. And to be honest with you, the crash, I think that was, out of everything that's happened from that crash, I think that was the biggest thing. Is I just, once I watched that video, and you realize that you're not invincible, and anything can happen to anybody, even the best dudes in the scene, stuff happens, and you never want to see it. I don't want to see anybody crash, but it can happen at any moment, especially like street rides now with everybody getting landed on and everything. It's scary times, but we love it, and I think it's beyond that.
What part of the wreck actually humbled you, though? Was it the injury? Was it the downtime?
Well, I think it was just like I would say the downtime. I think actually that would probably be
because all your friends start progressing and you're out.
And you're just, well, I think, like I said, I think once you realize you're not invincible and something like that happens, you can, and you have time. Like I was off for like 4 months, 5 months, and all you can do is just think about
riding.
Yeah, what, like, and I think Jackson said it on your podcast the best. Like, a crash will teach you everything you need to know. Like, it's gonna teach you way, way, way more than anybody else, or like even yourself. I think you hit the ground, and I watched that video probably 100 times. What did I do wrong? Like, how do I not let this happen again? Like, and I think I went through that whole like self-realization of like, dude, who cares? Like, you're not the coolest dude. there's a million dudes doing this, and I'm just trying to have fun. And I think that was the realization was like, stop. I was trying to take it super serious. Not that I'm not serious about it now, but it was just too much.
It meant too much to you?
No, I wouldn't. It was just like I wanted. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I think it was more of just like finally getting the traction that I felt like I deserved, if that makes sense. But I didn't deserve. Like, dude, you're just riding a Harley. Like, it's nothing super crazy, in my opinion. It's like we're doing this for ourselves. So I got like caught up in what I thought everybody else wanted me to do instead of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be for myself. And I think that's probably the biggest realization is I'm doing this for me because I love it, not because I want to be Mr. Cool Guy anymore or do it for like, look at me. I just like having fun.
Isn't it crazy how God humbles you in the weirdest ways?
Insane. So fast.
He'll
too.
slap you off that damn bike and
He
say,
will.
shut up.
Yeah, he will. And
just to teach you a lesson.
yeah.
And he makes you like separate yourself from stunt riding so that you can look at yourself from a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's like he sidelines you so that you can look at your life, like, because you are different people. There's the stunt riding you, and then there's the real you. You know what I'm saying? And people don't understand that unless they're self-aware like you. That's why
I'm trying to make that one person now.
It's really, really hard because
insanely hard.
Once you put that helmet on, you are a different person.
You are.
And you see people that are super shy or introverted. A lot of our friends are super introverted. They put that helmet on, they're so confident.
Yep. And it is a thing, like that's a thing. You know, you put that helmet on, you're going to go out, like these dudes are going to go out right now and put a show on. And I'm trying to get over that, like, look at me thing. And I think a lot of people want that more than it gets portrayed, if that makes sense. I don't think all these dudes out here are look at me people. And that's not why we do it. I think core is a lot of these dudes literally just love riding motorcycles and they just want to have fun. Like I think the biggest thing since that crash was I realized that I just wanted to have a good time over like doing, showing off in the easiest sense of it. And I like making people laugh. Like that's why I like doing funny videos now is like, it's just you make people laugh. Laughter's a universal language. It doesn't matter what country you're from. Everybody laughs. Mm-hmm. So if you make people laugh, it's like that's the best thing in the world. That's like my favorite thing to do.
So, you know how you said a lot of people like the look at me feeling? How come some people don't realize or go through that transition of like, okay, this is kind of toxic?
It's super toxic.
It's super toxic. Or do you think they even realize that it is?
I think, I mean, I'm not going to speak on everybody. I don't really, but some people might like it. Some people don't. I'm trying to, and it's not throwing shade at anybody, but you see a lot of these dudes at events and they're just, Mr. Cool Guy. It sucks. And I'm just trying to I throw that helmet on, you go put on a show, have a good time, whatever, and people coming up to you after and they're like, I don't want a bad experience with anybody. I don't want anybody to have be like, Travis is a piece of shit or like he was rude or whatever. So I think the look at me thing it's more than on the bike. If you're a look at me person, you're gonna be that person off the bike too.
I agree with that. You know what's crazy is since I've been doing this podcast, a lot of people will either message me about each guest and they'll say, I never thought that guy was that way. Mm-hmm. I thought he would be cocky, or vice versa. Like, man, he's just as cocky as I thought he was. Yeah. And it's
crazy.
It is wild. Like, I think it's just, if you're a narcissist, you're a narcissist. But this is the weird thing, because I had a weird transition in my stunt riding. I was like you. I was cocky at one point in my life, and I think it's because I thought I was so good, and I thought that I was like at this hypothetical like top spot for females. And I don't know, it's just hard. I had this realization that I can't maintain that spot. And that's what humbled me.
Yeah.
And I couldn't maintain it once I had kids.
That's
And
a big
I'm like,
I think actually that makes a really good is when you're off, and I was during that time where I was injured, I had that realization. I think too was like, Corey Tusinski, Sam Taylor, Dom 829, Joey 55. I'll never be those dudes, and so you could push yourself and try to be like, I don't know, that might have been a bad way to put it, but like, I'm not gonna have that top spot. So what can I do different? So I just started doing funny stuff.
No, I wouldn't think of it like that, because all those guys are in their prime right now. They will not be able to maintain that stop. And I'm not talking. This is everyone.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
this is literally all of us. And I bring it up to those top guys. Like, do you think you're in your prime? What do you think is going to happen after?
Yeah.
Because you cannot maintain the skills. Period. Like,
yeah.
all I fucking do right now is wheelie.
Yeah.
The most basic fucking. But I was killing it on the street bike. So it's like, I thought I was something that I wasn't going to be for forever. And then I guess I was narcissistic in the sense of that, like, oh, you can't touch me. No one can touch me. Like, no bitch out here can touch me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm better than you. And if you got anywhere near me, I was going to get better than you. Like, that was my mindset, you know? And it's so fucking toxic.
Well, that, like, I think having that mindset too kind of takes
the fun out of it.
Enjoyment out of learning, because you're like, I need to learn this trick to be better than that person, not because I want that trick personally, like, in my heart.
You nailed it.
And right, like, and I didn't mean the way that I said that with like Sam and them. I meant like Sam Taylor and Corey.
You look up to them.
Those are, dude, watching them ride, those dudes are throwing double hand drags in small brawl lots and helmet drags. Like, you guys can have that. That's not going to be me. So pretty much what I was getting with that is I don't try to compare myself to them, because that's only going to take the enjoyment out of your riding. If you accept, like, maybe one day I could go for a helmet or something. I'm not in that position in my career, and I'm not going to kill myself trying to do it. So I'll let them have it, and I'm just going to go do my own thing and have fun and try.
Do you think before your wreck you would have accepted that?
No, absolutely not. And I think that's why I was riding the way I was riding, was that I was just trying to be the best, and you can't do that. And I was such a squid. Like, watching me ride back then, I was like, oh, dude, I did not belong on street rides. I did not. It was bad. And I'm not saying I do now. I think it's definitely gotten a little bit better. I definitely feel confident riding around other people, and I have a little bit more bike control. But, like, it's crazy to be in this point of my riding and look back and be like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, my mentality was so messed up. My reasons for doing things were so messed up. Like, I was going to events to be like, oh, I need to go to this event to get exposure, and not go to this event because I get to see my best friends that I've probably never even met. Some of my closest people, like, in the riding scene, I've met once or twice, or sometimes not at all. And we have like a full-on friendship going just off Instagram. Dudes that live 3,000 miles away, like, we're so tight, and I love it. And that's the best thing that's happened to me since riding starting this is just the relationships, and having that, hey man, if you ever come out here, you have a place to stay, or we're gonna go hang out and we're gonna go ride. It's just the coolest thing. Like, Instagram, some people have a mentality about Instagram. It is what it is, but
what mentality? What do you think?
It's just, you know, a lot of people don't want to try, or they think that other people are gonna be like have that, oh, he's trying too hard or whatever. But then those same dudes are like, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. But you're worried about somebody like thinking you're trying too hard on Instagram. I wouldn't be where I'm at without it. Honestly, I don't even think I'd be riding still.
Yeah, so you mentioned that the rec brought opportunities.
Yeah, so the rec, we're going to go back to Sean. So I started riding with Sean. Sean pretty much taught me most of the basics, learning Harleys, and sat there with me. Me and Sean were real close. I mean, we still are. It's my dog. But when I crashed, my bike's totaled. I'm hurt. Can't work. I'm like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. It's getting so expensive. I kept crashing. That bike's, like I said, it's been hurt. So, you know, just repeat after repeat, buying the same parts over and over again. It sucks, and it's mentally draining. So Sean called me when I got home after that crash, and he's like, hey man, how's the bike? And I'm like, dude, this thing's totaled. Like, I don't even think I'm good. Like, if I do keep riding, like, it's going to take me a long time to put this bike back together and figure out what I'm going to do. He goes, let me make a phone call. Sean called Ravi for me. I've never talked to the dude, never DM'd him once. We followed each other, but we had no, mutual anything. And Ravi called, he's like, all right, I'll see what's up with the kid. Ravi calls me and he's like, hey, what do you think it needs? And I was like, from like a visual, when bikes go down like that, you got to really tear them down to see what's wrong. Mm-hmm. But like visual, it was a lot. It was bad. That bike was pretty messed up. And he was like, you know what? I want to help. He came. I couldn't load my bike. My leg was all messed up, whatever. He took my bike to his shop. Never even talked to the dude before that phone call. Took my bike to his shop, framed it for me, got an entire list down. This is everything you're gonna need. This is what I can help you out with. This is what, we're gonna figure. This is a list of the stuff we're gonna figure out. Called all the companies that he works with, got me put on crazy hard. Like,
are you kidding me?
Never even talked to this dude.
That's wild.
Like, that's my brother. We're really close in age. He's a little older than me. He's like my big brother. Like, I love Ravi. Like, I literally, it still blows my mind
that someone would do that for you.
Yes. It's like, and I was still like, not that I'm somebody now, but I was a nobody. Like, I didn't have it like that.
What do you think he saw in you? Or did he just have that relationship with Longhorn?
I think him and Longhorn were real tight, and I think Ravi was he had just opened up that shop. He had a shop at a different location, and he moved closer to me. So I think he was just like getting in that position to feel like he was able to sponsor somebody and just didn't know who was that person.
Okay, I seriously cannot be the only one that does not trust insurance companies. Don't you feel like they never pay you what you deserve for your accident? That's why I always call Law Tigers. They're specialized motorcycle attorneys. Yes, there's a difference between motorcycles and cars. That's why you need to call Law Tigers, because they are the experts and you are not. And what's dope about them is you don't have to pay anything out of pocket. It comes out of your settlement. So if they don't get you paid, then they don't get paid. And the best part is once you call them, they take care of everything for you. You don't have to think about it at all until you're signing the paperwork saying case closed. Don't let these insurance companies screw you over. Call Law Tigers and tell them that Drea sent you. If you're local to Arizona, call my boy Jay. I'll leave his info in the description below.
And I mean, we didn't hang up, and he came and picked my bike up. Like, we talked for, a couple days, and we got a good vibe for each other. And I think like stuff like that, it is a business relationship at the end of the day, but we're like family now. And I think that was like his thing is I think he just believed in me, and he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. And same with Sean. For Sean to go out of his way and make that phone call for me, putting your word in this industry is very, very hard.
Oh, yeah.
So many of these companies and business owners have been screwed over by stunt riders for years and years now, that you putting your word in could ruin your reputation if somebody screws you over. So I've always made it a very good point of, like, if somebody's going to go out of their way, like Ravi or Sean, like, don't overpromise.
Did you start working for him?
No, I don't work for him. He just helps me out. He's like...
What's his shop?
Yeah, he owns a shop.
What's the shop's name?
Savage Powerhouse.
Okay.
So it's in Signal Hill, California. And yeah, he just picked my bike up, took it, framed it, and it definitely wouldn't look like the way it was without him. I probably would have slapped that thing back together as minimal as possible to just get by so I could keep riding. And he really like sat me down and he was like, if you want to do this, like, we're going to do it right. And I show up one day and my bike's sitting on the frame. There's no front end on it. The motor's out of it. It's pretty much just a frame and a wiring harness. And I would look at him and he was like, I told you, like, I'm not messing around. Like, he really saw something in me, and he was like, this is what we're doing, and I'm going to get you dialed, because he just believed in me. Instantly, like,
that's
bam.
That's crazy.
It was the coolest. It was such an amazing feeling, and I'm so blessed to have that dude. And
isn't it weird when you feel like someone believes in you in a moment where you're low? you have some sort of undying like loyalty for them.
Yeah, we're like
Yeah.
this now. Like that's my dog, and I try to do everything I can for him, but I think he'll always have that. He does so much. Even Cyrus, that was a blessing too. Is me and Cyrus started together. We actually met on TikTok. I posted like the funniest video of me just all Dynabroed out, Dixon flannel, like big old T-bars, cruising down PCH. And he hit me up and he was like, hey, we should ride sometime. And I was like, yes. Maybe a couple weeks later, I hit him up. I was like, hey, we're going to go ride to this taco spot that's over by my house. And we're chilling there eating, me and a couple of my buddies, and we just hear this. You know the Power Wheelie rap out.
Yeah.
They're just, rah. And then just, Cyrus just
It was
flies.
Cyrus?
Yes, just flies by the taco shop. It was so sick. And I'm like, I hadn't wheelied my Harley yet. I'm losing my mind. I'm like, yo, this dude is insane. So that's how I met Cyrus. And then me and him, he lived a lot closer to me. He's farther away from me now, but he did live a lot closer. Me and him rode almost every day.
That's cool.
That's literally, we literally came up together. And for him to, for Ravi to be in a position to pick somebody else up and to, of all people, to pick Cyrus up, because me and Cyrus ride so good together. Like, we have really good riding chemistry. We trust each other, which is like huge.
Oh yeah, huge.
That's huge. Like I know, like when we're riding, like I know what he's gonna do. He knows what I'm gonna do, kind of thing. And there's always mishaps, but we're like pretty locked in. So for Ravi to end up actually getting Cyrus too is.
You guys should make a team with him.
Yeah, we
shop.
ride shows together, but it's more. Yeah, it's just. It's slow. We're working on it.
Yeah,
Ravi's
that
really
would help
down.
his shop a lot. If you want to do something to repay him, make a team.
Yeah, we should do that.
His shop team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like how Spin the Block is with his boys.
Yeah, that's actually. Yeah, we should do.
And they make jerseys and like all that shit.
We're like really working on it. I mean, that's Ravi's thing, the shop. That's not. I don't have any tie into that. I just ride for him, but I try to go over there and help him out as much as possible. Clean, keep whatever.
Yeah.
I work on my bike sometimes. Like that dude slammed. I think some people get like expectations. Like Ravi's my dude, and if I took like say I crashed my bike out while I'm out here, take it to him and just give it to him, just drop it off. He'll take care of it. Like he's that good of a dude. But if he's busy, like I'll go in there and I'll fix my own stuff. He's gonna help me out with the parts, and that's a blessing enough. I'm gonna take my time and help him out. I'm not gonna have him pull off customers' bikes so I can.
Yeah.
And I think he always appreciated that too. Because once I healed, my bike wasn't done when my leg was ending. My time when it was healed up. So I was able to walk and stuff and work a little bit. And we kind of finished my bike like together, and I think he like really appreciated that, and he saw that we were like all down for that. Cyrus will do the same thing. We'll go in there and if he's busy, like I'm not gonna screw him over,
expecting shit.
Yeah, and I think that's that's another bad mentality to have.
That's common in the stunt scene.
Oh yeah.
They think I'm such a shit. I should be able to skip the line or.
I see that.
And that makes sponsors bitter too.
Yeah.
And not want to work with people because there's so many egotistical.
And that would be like a thing I would say to somebody coming up too is don't get discouraged. Remember I was saying like don't get discouraged, dude. Slow progress is still progress. So I think a lot of these younger dudes, or even if they're not young, but just newer people in the scene, they come in and you're in a position where you should be getting flowed stuff, and these companies just keep turning you down and turning you down. Dude, these companies have been getting screwed for years. Like, a lot of these stunt, like, I'm not going to say a lot, but some of these stunt riders really, like, fucked it up for the rest of us.
They did, but I think they don't know. They don't know how the relationship goes. They just think, I'm a stunt rider. I'm really good at what I do.
Yeah.
Will you sponsor me?
Yeah.
But this is the thing, the company doesn't know how to sponsor someone either. So they think, oh, hell yeah, I like your content. Here's a part, risers or whatever it is. And then they're like, thanks. And then they never hear from them again.
Exactly.
But the problem is neither of them made a deal.
Exactly.
So now the rider feels bitter because they only got one part and now they're still hashtagging or whatever they feel like they're doing for that company.
Yep.
But the brand isn't happy either because they're like, they never did the brand specific video. I was thinking that they should do, but they never voiced that that's what they wanted.
Well, I think overpromising is a very big part of this too.
Yeah.
And I think if you talk yourself up, you need to put out on what you said. I would say that that's probably a mentality that a lot of stunt riders have too, is it's not in writing. I didn't sign anything. I don't owe them shit. But it's like, it's all a business transaction. Like they're taking money out of their pocket, even if it's $300 for a set of risers. That's their money.
Yeah.
That's the money that they've built a company off of. They're handing you a part. Yeah, if you're not like on a contract or whatever, or they're not, you guys didn't work out like one video a month or some whatever. Yeah, don't go like super gnarly. Like I feel like some people do that too. Is like they'll just post like the same thing every day, which is cool. But I think that will put a bitter taste in people's mouth too. So there's like a there's both ends of the spectrum.
So where is the line then?
I think is like what we were saying. You got to work it out. Like if you're breaking it down to a company that's not used to that and saying, hey, this is what I can do for you, and like work out, maybe not a contract, maybe you don't have to sign anything, but you, instead of just typing them, hey, I'm very motivated, I'm doing all this, whatever, this is my insights, like I want parts, you just be like, hey, if you do this for me, this is what I can do for you, and don't overpromise, and follow through with what you broke down. And just, that's going to put a good taste in that company's mouth. And then when the next dude comes in and he's, it's not going to be the same mentality as the older times where they were like, oh, that guy burned us.
Yeah.
Somebody finally came through with their promises, and that's going to open the door to another kid or however. And I think that's just.
Or be straight up. Like, exactly. Hey, look, I can't install videos where I'm talking about your product. Yeah. You were saying off camera, you do install videos, but you don't like to talk on the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain your product. I just don't like talking on the camera.
Yeah.
But I'll just do dope tricks on it. Are you cool with that? And if the answer is no, then that company's not for you.
Yeah. And don't get discouraged. Like, don't get bummed out. I hate getting rejected. I'm so bad about it. Like, I get so bummed out. But
why do you think that is?
I think it's just like, it's literally like the same rejection as a chick, you try to put, you really sit there, you're sitting there with the send button right there, and you're like, do I really want to do this? You're like, what if they just leave me on red? Or what if they, whatever you can think in your head. And, getting that text back that they're about it, or that they want to, like, hey, let's work something out. Like, or we're okay with that, but we want this, and this. Is such a rewarding feeling, and once you get used to that a couple times, I think, like, I've been very blessed. Like, obviously with Ravi, like I was saying, he put his word out, and that helped me a lot beyond me having to reach out as an individual. So with the couple that I've worked out on my own, it's such a rewarding feeling that you don't want rejection, and it's just like that's always in your head. I think that's like a natural human instinct, is getting rejected sucks. So it's like,
well, going back to like it being like a chick, maybe you'll get rejected from that chick.
Yeah.
Like that high value chick.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking like, well, fuck, I'm never going to get a high value chick again, ask yourself, how can I be the type of man that attracts high value women?
Exactly.
So like that goes for the companies too. Like maybe a large brand that you really want to be a part of, you just like their culture or whatever, the real reason behind the deeper reason why you want to be a part of that brand.
Yeah.
Maybe they reject you the first time. Then ask yourself, okay, well, what am I lacking that they need? What am I lacking as a stunt rider or content creator? Because at the end of the day, that's what we are.
Yeah.
To sponsors, they don't give a fuck about our riding skills at all.
No, they don't.
I'm a prime example.
It's literally,
you know what I'm saying?
It's really not that important. You don't have to have the gnarliest tricks anymore.
They don't give a shit.
I did a roller singing a white girl song, and I got 10 times more traction from that than any of the cool tricks that I have, I guess you would say. Like, that's what I try to explain now. Like I said earlier, laughter. Make people laugh. If you're doing something because you want to impress other people or you want to look cool to other people, it's just not you, and people are going to see through that. So like I didn't make that video to like because I thought it was gonna blow up. I made that video because I thought it was funny and I love that song. So I'm just like, I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna make. If I make one person laugh, like I won. Like I'm down. Like that. If I made somebody's day better because of this video, and then it just happens to do good because everybody likes to laugh. So just do something different. You don't have to be the like craziest dude and have the gnarliest tricks. And it's cool to be that dude. And I think like Sam Taylor's a good example of that. Like he's so humble. I'll sit there and chop it up with that dude, and he's so cool. But he's like literally the gnarliest dude on a bike. Like it doesn't get very much gnarlier than him. And he's so cool and collected, and he's just a dude. Like people I think like start holding themselves at like higher standards, and once you just realize that you're just another person, like it doesn't matter where you're at in your riding career, it doesn't matter what tricks you have. All these people are just people, and everybody just wants to have a good time or be loved. So just show the love back. If you're getting love, show it back.
So there's probably people that look up to you the same way that you kind of look up to Sam Taylor, or you did before you were good at stunt riding.
Yeah.
What would you say to them when they come up kind of like, I'm not saying fangirling in a negative way, but that's the only way I can explain it.
You're good.
Like they're nervous to be around you, or they feel like you're untouchable. What would you say to those type of people?
That's such a weird thing to think about yourself, like in that position. I feel like I just try to treat everybody with the same amount of respect, you know? And that's like the golden rule you learn when you're a kid. You know, be cool to everybody and they'll be cool back. So I've dealt with some things, you know, at events where you try to, and I get it sometimes at events, everybody's really in their head, you know, especially a competition or whatever, or they just rode a stunt show and you go to try to talk to them and their mind is going still. So if I had to say something like that, I would be like, if don't judge somebody off of one time they're meeting you, I would say, because you might have just caught them in a bad moment. But for me, I just try, like I'm out there, I'm just smiling, like having a good time, just trying to make people laugh. And so
what would you tell them about yourself though?
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay. I was just saying, like, I'm just having a good time. Just come up and talk. Like, I'm a normal dude. Like, I don't think I'm anybody special. I will literally chop it up with you for an hour. I sit on DMs for hours with dudes and just have fun, like chopping it up, trying to teach them everything. Don't gatekeep. Gatekeeping sucks. I hate gatekeepers, and I think that's a big problem.
Give me an example of a gatekeeper.
Well, I think a lot of these, I don't think it's as bad now. I think a lot of information is readily available, especially with like the Harley stunt Facebook page, how big it is now. But I think some gatekeeping would be tips, you know, as why am I having a hard time with this trick? The dude that learned that trick early on, or he might be one of the only couple dudes that have that trick, they don't want to spread that information because they want to hold on to it or whatever. But it's dudes like Dom. I'll sit on the phone with Dom and I'm just like, dude, I cannot do this. Like, what am I doing wrong? We're 6 hours apart. He can't just sit there and, you know, coach me at the lot. So it'll be like send me a video or whatever, or Joey or anybody, like, hey, send me a video and I could try to like depict. It's stuff like that, dude. Help people out. If you did something to your bike and somebody likes it and you're like, I want to be the only dude that dude, don't do that. That's lame. Help everybody out. Just be cool. And if you start holding on to stuff like that, like it's just corny to me.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? I want to see like when my buddies learn, like if I learn a trick, like Danny Quick out here riding the show, we were just talking shit the other day because I had learned Jackie Chan's, like the crossover, and I had barely done stand-ups, and I just went straight to that, and he was like, I'm gonna get those, and I'm like, you know, you talk shit, we're boys, so it's like you talk shit and have a good time. But he went and did it and like tagged me in the video, and I'm like so stoked. Like, I want everybody to like be like just be stoked on themselves. And it's, I think
that comes with confidence though.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when you're insecure, you feel like you have to keep something. Yeah, keep something and like not share it, because then your spot's taken. That's
like the competition thing. I think that was the gatekeeping problem, was like there's so many dudes doing it now that everybody sees everybody as competition instead of just other people. They're like, that's my competition. If I teach this dude and he becomes a better rider than me, he's going to get booked for more shows. He's going to get booked, you know, to ride that comp or whatever. And it's like, who cares? That dude's like out there killing it. I'm just stoked. Like I'll sit on Instagram and watch videos of like my buddies learning new stuff, and I'm just juiced out of my mind. Like I love that.
You mentioned shows, and like you mentioned that you started doing some shows here and there, or you do more than you were before your wreck.
Oh no, more now for sure. But
how do you think that doing shows changes your feeling towards riding?
I would say in my experience that it doesn't change it too much. I would say competitions are that one changes the whole way I handle, like I get so lost and nervous, but shows, it's just fun. Like I just like, and I guess you could argue that that's like the look at me thing, but you just go out there, have a good time, and don't focus on the people. Just go ride the lot with your friends.
I don't think it's the look at me thing, because I think it's more like some people are just entertainers.
Yeah.
Because I know look at me guys, and some of them don't really enjoy shows, or you could tell they're not like entertainers.
Yeah, like the crowd's not engaged.
Yeah, and they're not engaged with the crowd.
Exactly.
So like for instance, my husband Bruce, he's a show guy, but he's not really a look at me guy.
No, yeah.
So he's super humble, and he's
like
not
the complete opposite.
Yeah, but he is really like a show
showman,
type of person.
Yeah, for sure.
But then you see a look at me guy, which I won't name any names, but there's people that I've rode with in shows, and they're look at me type of guys, but in the shows they suck, like just with engaging.
Yeah.
They're good riders.
Good riders, yeah, great
but
riders.
they just,
well, I think people get lost in, they want to do the gnarliest stuff. But you show up to
maybe that's the look at me guys.
Yeah, they want to do the gnarliest tricks. Yeah, dude, a helmet drag is insane. And I'm not saying the helmet drag dudes that are that's not what I'm getting at. But you go in a show and do a helmet drag, that's wild. But to the people that are standing out there on the fence, they don't understand it. So it's like they don't understand if it's a throttle hand drag or a normal hand drag. So you go out there, and honestly, I think they get more entertained by the people that are like riding down the fence line, banging limiter, high-fiving them, than the dudes that are circling or double hand drag. Like they just don't understand that, and I think that comes with
ego.
Yeah, because you just want to be the gnarliest dude.
I just had a realization. I was that. Remember when I was telling you I was like that narcissistic, egotistical rider? Yeah. I was like that in the stunt shows, and I really didn't enjoy stunt shows because I wanted to do my hardest trick. Yeah. And I can't perform at 100% on a show show. Yeah. Like no matter, I don't care how good you are, you're not performing at 100% in a show. No. As bad as you want to.
No, for sure.
And in my mind, I'm not thinking about the little girl that's watching me being inspired. I'm thinking about my friends watching me.
That's it. That's it. You want to impress the people that you want to impress, and I think that really messes with your head in those situations.
Oh, big time.
You're getting paid there to go make the crowd happy, to come in here and sell bikes, and people lose that. Like,
yeah, they try to impress our friends, and that's what fucks you up.
And those people are already impressed. If you're good with your people, like they already are so stoked on you, and they're so proud of you. I mean, maybe
no,
99%.
Well, they know what you can already do.
Exactly.
So when you go do a show, they've seen it all. Like honestly.
Yeah.
I don't get impressed by stunt shows. I see it every fucking day of my life. Like, I'm just here to support my friends.
Yeah.
You know, I'm cheering you on. I've seen you do it way better 100 times. Yeah. But I don't care. I'm there to support you. And like, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just it comes down to your reason to ride. Like, what is your reason?
Well, it's like that's what I was saying earlier. People are forgetting why they started riding. And I think that's the biggest problem.
It's fun.
And I think that's what was really going through me when I crashed, was I was starting to do the look at me thing. And I was forgetting why I started riding the Harley in the first place. Yeah. So when you get over that and you really lock in and like you have the mentality of like, this is literally just for fun. Like,
it's not that serious.
It's not. It's really not. And if you are put in a situation where you're so blessed where you can ride for a living, yeah, that's serious. But it's like, that doesn't give you the ticket to be a dick or be a dude that just is like I'm going to go do my own thing, like, fuck everybody else. Dude, just be cool with everybody, and it would be so, this scene would be so dope if everybody was just cool.
So how do you, okay, so the look at me type of rider is typically very competitive.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, it does get you very far.
Of course it does.
You get super good when you're that way because you're constantly like checking people off your list. You're like, okay, that's the next person I gotta get better than. And then you're like, okay, once you reach that level, okay, I'm going for this person next. And you just keep climbing the ladder. But as soon as you kind of almost accept, like, I don't need to be that good, you do kind of slow down a little. You pump the gas.
Well, I
think
that bums people out too. And the mentality, and I've had this mentality too. So you get booked to ride a stunt show. Some dudes get bothered because they're better riders and they should have that opportunity because they can do better tricks or whatever. And there is some dudes that are just comfortable. You know, you go in there, you do a couple hand drags, drift around a little bit, limiter donuts. That's all, like, realistically, that's all you need to do. Mm-hmm. Like, you're just going to stoke them out. So then some guys might get bothered, like, oh, I can do all these other tricks. I can do this. Why can't I get that opportunity instead of just being stoked for the people that got blessed with that opportunity?
Or how about you just step up your game in business? Like, that's all it is.
It really is.
Stunt shows are all business. It's not even really about skill. You have to be good enough to be able to clutch up in a small space and more controlled.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get messages all the time. How can I get in that stunt show? Or, like, you know, and it's like, oh, it's all business. Like, really shake hands, man. Go talk to your local dealership. Say, hey, you know, if you believe in me, I'm happy to do a stunt show, even if it's free. I hate saying that out loud, but we all start somewhere.
Yeah, and it's part of it.
It's part of it.
It is.
But you just have to, like...
But that goes back into the people. There's people that are so good at riding, like insane riders, and they already may have that following built, but they just don't push the Instagram thing because they don't want to seem like that dude. They don't want to seem like they're trying so hard. And they have all the opportunity in the world to be, you know, and I hate saying like a big name or whatever. Like, that's not what you're going for, but it's going to help your riding so much.
Yeah.
Like, even just getting on with Ravi and a couple of the companies that he's blessed me with, it helps so much not having to pay that couple extra $100 when my bike breaks or go on a trip, and you can call somebody and be like, hey, we're going on this trip for this, you know, we'd like to promote, let's get some gas money or a room or something like that. People don't understand that it's more than just that follower number or whatever they like get lost in. It really will, like, it can progress your whole ride. Like, I don't want to do this for a living, like, as in, I think sometimes when you're riding for a living and that's the only thing you're doing, you lose that love for it. But if I could get helped out to where I'm not having to pay to ride or pay to travel or like do that, that's like the ultimate goal. You know, it's so fun to me.
You know, I
like,
think the following thing, you have to, it's really a mindset shift, because when you are that obsessive rider that wants, it's, okay, basically we're talking about two different personalities here.
Yeah.
Usually the look at me and like competitive rider sees this as a sport and it's very serious to them. This is their life.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not practicing, what the fuck are you doing here?
Literally.
Why are you hanging out with your boys drinking a beer at the lot?
Yeah.
We're here to train.
Yeah.
And that's literally a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to get footage, you know, and get some sponsors and
just
have a good time.
Yeah.
And I used to, like I was saying, I was that first person before, and I'd look at everyone sitting down like, hey, you guys gonna even fucking ride? Like, why are we even here?
Yeah.
You know, and then when I was done riding, I'd leave. And it's like, and then the following thing I didn't find important at all. And I remember, I think, was it Sit Down Steve told me, like, dude, the following does help a lot.
It's insane.
You know, and I was like, because I was kind of hating on him, like, followers don't pay. I used to say that, but that was really back in the day.
Yeah.
But I was like, followers don't pay, you know, and they're like, well, it does actually help. And now, once I switched that mindset, I was like, yeah, what the fuck was I talking about?
Yeah.
I had no idea, because I'm so stuck in this, like, I have to have the best skills in the world. Like, that's the most important thing to me right now.
Yeah, and it's not a bad mentality to have. It's just it's how you carry yourself outside. Like you could have that battle inside, you know, and you want to be the best and want to have every trick and still be cool outside. But
I
don't know.
It's not possible.
It's
It's really not possible.
It would take a really strong person to do that, and I don't know.
It is not possible. I don't see how it's possible. I really don't.
Yeah, I guess.
I've dissected it a lot because I've went through this, and I'm I almost get scared to even push myself sometimes because I'm I don't want to be that person I was. And every time I start learning a new trick or something, I'm I find myself okay, what other girl's doing this? Okay, I could be better than her. And I'm wait, no, dial it back, bitch. Humble yourself because it's not about that. And that's your fucking friend, bitch. Shut up. Why are you acting like this?
People do get carried away. Those are your boys.
Yeah.
And they're I could see it. I don't know. I haven't experienced it myself, but I could see it happening is you see one of your buddies start coming up faster than you, or you're not growing together. And there's resentment. The shit could probably ruin friendships, and it sucks. We're literally just ride your damn motorcycle and have fun. Mm-hmm. Just have fun.
No, dude.
But it's it's hard. It's hard. It sounds so simple and it's easy to say, but it's a hard thing to deal with for sure.
This conversation doesn't ever happen.
Is that a good thing? No,
it is a good thing. But I'm just saying, I try to draw it out in every podcast. It's really hard, but not many people are super self-aware like you are.
I just went through it.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised because you're so young that you learned it. I mean, you're almost lucky that you had that wreck.
That's what I was saying.
Mental growth.
Don't crash because you think that it's gonna help you, but that one really flipped the switch for me. And I would not be here right now if it wasn't for that crash or everything that unrolled from that crash, because that was, who knows where I'd be.
When you came back from your wreck and you got back on your bike and you realized you weren't as good as the rider that you felt, I guess the rider that you identified with, how'd you deal with that shit?
Honestly, I tried to just forget about it all.
Because it sucks relearning the same trick that you already had on lock.
Yeah.
You're this isn't even fun.
I don't know how you were with injuries before, but I feel when I take time off the bike and come back, I'm better and stuff comes easier. It was a little gnarly for me because my bike pretty much was fully redone, and it was nicer than it had ever been. Ravi put a big motor in it, and so I was relearning my bike a little bit, but I didn't forget how to do the tricks. And I think that was with my mentality I was telling you, I studied that video. What did I do wrong, or why? And it's pretty simple what I didn't do wrong.
What'd you do? Drop back too quick?
Way too fast. No brake, just straight to the scrape plate. It was insane. And like Jackson said, you forget to hit your back brake, and you will not forget to hit your back brake for a very long time. So coming back from the crash, there's always that fear, and I think it's in your head when you first start riding again, and especially trying the trick that you crashed on. Mm-hmm. But if you just just be confident in yourself, and we were talking about earlier, when somebody's starting, don't let people pressure you into trying stuff that's not in your wheelhouse. If you're comfortable, you think trying something and you feel you're there to try it and they're pushing you to do it. But if you don't feel confident, don't do something that's going to hurt you. This shit can kill you. You can die. So it's don't let people peer pressure you into it. So when I came back, I had all those tricks before, but I took it slow, and I just tried to forget about everything that I had, and not forget about the ego, forget about I'm back to ground zero, and I'm relearning, I guess you could say, but I knew how to do it. So it's it was just a fresh start, and I think that's what I needed, and I think that's what really has progressed me into the person that I am now, is starting back from ground zero.
You think you're happier now?
Way happier. Insanely happier.
Yeah, I'm same here.
You can't sit there and be that person and be happy all the time. It's not possible.
No, because the reason why you want to continue to progress is because you're unhappy with where you're at.
Exactly. I'm so stoked with where I'm at.
Yeah.
If I stayed stagnant, I'm not going to. I have stuff in my heart that I want, still, but I'm not doing it to impress people. And I think that's the thing, that I have tricks that I want because I want them, because I want to challenge myself versus.
Yeah, or you're not sitting there thinking, fuck, I can't head drag, I suck.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Everyone else is doing it. Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah. It's comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, it's horrible.
And it goes farther than tricks. It goes into these dudes that are coming up. They're like, why I'm doing the same trick. There's like so many. I have a hard time dealing with my opportunity. And I don't know if anybody else struggles with this, but I'm like, why am I sitting here right now? There's so many better riders. Like, why am I in this seat? Or why do I have these sponsors? Like, these dudes deserve it. Like, there's dudes on the East Coast. You care if I shout a couple people out?
No, go ahead.
Dropback Jordy, insane rider. No love. Like, these dudes, I mean, they get love. I don't mean to say no love, but like, they do not get the love they deserve. Chris256.
They don't get the love that you feel like they deserve.
Not at all. Not even close. Like, Chris256 is so gnarly. I've been watching that dude for a while, and he's absolutely insane. And I think they have like 1,800 followers, which followers isn't everything, like we were talking about. But it's like a dude riding at that level, like, he has throttle elbows. Like, gnarly tricks, gnarly. Dropback Jordy does double hand drags in the pack. Or TJ Lou. Like, TJ Lou is one of my favorite people. And I feel like he is such a good rider, and he travels, and he really puts the effort in. And he's getting it. Like, he's starting to get traction now, which is super sick. And I love it for my dude. But I think he deserves way more love. And Motor City AJ is his buddy. Insane riders. And I think just being on the West Coast and having all like constant events year round, being able to ride year round, it's such a blessing. Like, you don't have to be the gnarliest dude. You just have to show face. And I'm already at all these events because I'm doing it because I love it and I have fun. So it just works out.
I really think you just nailed it with the location, because I'm from Washington, and we would get all the shows that were available there.
Yeah.
But it rains all year round. And then moving to Arizona, our whole entire career just exploded because there's way more opportunities. Look, you can go to a bike night every single night of the week.
Yeah, literally.
All year round.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like everyone here rides. Literally everyone. Like, if you don't ride a motorcycle in Arizona, what are you fucking doing?
Exactly.
You know? So it's like, location really does matter.
And it's even gnarlier. Like, some of those dudes, there's so many. I could probably name like 20 off the top of my head. That's just what I thought of instantly. But those guys only get to ride 6, 7, 8 months out of the year or so. Like, they're not getting a full season like us. I could go ride like 99% of the year. Like, and I'm very blessed for that. So it's like, these dudes are so gnarly. If they lived over here, they'd be massive. They'd be insane, and they just don't get the same opportunity.
Yeah, it is totally location. I agree with that.
So,
that's
like,
crazy. I never thought of that.
I struggle with that heavy because I'm like, why am I getting this? So I don't know if that's I don't know what that is, but I think about that a lot, and I'm like, why me? Like, these dudes are so much gnarlier. But I think that's also like your mind trying to drag you down. And I'm just
that's an insecurity thing.
Yeah.
And, imposter syndrome.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, imposter syndrome, where you feel like you don't belong in the spot that you are, because you're like, why me?
Yeah, why
me?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's almost like I see a lot of people saying on those Facebook groups, those stunt riding Facebook groups, when can I call myself a stunt rider? Yeah. And it's like, you can call yourself a stunt rider when you decide to practice every day and dedicate yourself to the sport. It doesn't matter if you can wheelie yet or not.
Yeah.
You're deciding, I'm going to stunt ride.
Yeah.
So you are now a stunt rider. But they have imposter syndrome even saying it out loud.
Yeah. I mean,
that's how I am with podcasting. When people ask, what I do, I don't even mention that.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do I not mention it? I do it every single week. I've been doing it for over a year. Like, it's because I have imposter syndrome about it,
I gotta fix that. I think that's like one of the last things that I need to work out. Cause
what's your imposter syndrome for?
I don't know.
Like, just your opportunities, feeling deserving of it?
Yeah, I'm like, why me? Because there's so many. Like, I could think off the top of my head like 20 dudes that I think would deserve where I'm at more than me. And I always like struggle with that. And I don't know why, and that's probably not common, but
there's a possibility that you're good at making connections, because I could tell already just by our conversation now, you know how to connect with people.
Yeah,
through conversation.
I like talking to people. Like,
yeah,
I'm
so if
really
if you're good at that, then when you meet someone face to face and shake hands with them, like let's say Ethan, you know, they're like, man, he's a good dude. Like, I'm gonna give him an opportunity, and then he recommends you to this podcast.
Yeah, that was sick.
You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you, Ethan.
You know, you get what I mean? And Ethan's the same way.
Yeah.
And that's how I helped him out a lot, because he shook my hand. He was a genuine person, cool as fuck, you know?
He's a great dude.
Great dude, just like as a normal, outside of everything.
If everybody was how Ethan is, where he is so stoked on this, he loves this shit so much, and he just wants to have a good time, like I said, the scene would be insane. This honestly, I think like that's the split in the scene is what's holding it back farther than a lot of other things that people may say are holding it back. Is just the people. I think if everybody was just having a good time, there's always, you can't put people together and not have competition.
Yeah,
it's impossible. Like we'll never get to that.
That's a survival mechanism.
Yeah, everybody's wired like that. You want to be the best, but it's about controlling that inside, I think, and letting those dudes that are the best keep that and just stay in your lane. I'm just in my lane. I just want to have fun. So if everybody was like Ethan, it would be so sick. Like that. Could you imagine how much fun this would be?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about, look at me. Everybody would just be riding motorcycles, which is what we all wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah, it is though. Like, I've told people like Ethan and Cameron, like, don't forget to stay humble though, because it's easy to be like, oh, my brand's blowing up.
Yes.
And just like in the stunt riding niche, it's the same with business. Oh yeah, everyone wants to be a part of Spin the Block, or everyone wants to be a part of Harleys, or whatever brand it is that's just on the come up. It blows up quick.
It does. It's
hard to stay humble.
It really is.
You know? And
it really is.
And that could fuck your brand.
Instant. Like quick.
Like, and I don't know if you've ever seen it in the motorcycle industry. You get one bad thing happen, and it'll just ruin their brand.
That word travels quick.
Oh, so quick. Yeah. And then text messages come out.
Never live that down.
Oh, man. It's brutal.
It is. It's like you said, it's still niche. There's a lot of people doing it, and I think I sympathize with the people that are trying to build a name for themselves now, because it is harder. I'm still dealing with it. Like, it's not as crazy as it once was. You used to see Bear wheelie a bagger. Not that it's not gnarly. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that. I'm not downplaying it. But, like, people, 6-7 years ago, whatever, they're like... But now, like, a lot of people have seen it. There's still people that haven't, and it's still crazy. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I think it's more widespread than it was. So there's so many dudes doing it that it's hard to stand out. Our niche is growing. Yeah, it's not as small as it was. It's not post a couple Instagram clips and you got 20K and you got all these companies loving you. And it's not like that anymore. You have to put in effort, and people don't want to put in the effort. It's just... People just, and it's cool. You just want to ride and be yourself. That's cool. But I'm not trying to take a lot of money out of my own pocket to keep continuing to do this. If I could get help, that's like it. That's all I want is just help. I don't need to live off the money from riding. Yeah. It's just, if I don't have to take my money that I've saved up to go travel, like, that's such a blessing. Like, and I wouldn't be able to do that without Instagram. I wouldn't be able to do that without Ravi or any. Nobody comes up completely by themselves, and I think people forget. Like, they start blowing up, and they forget where they came from.
Forget who helped them.
And I don't want to be that person. That's the last person I want to be. So, just
comes down to loyalty. I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, man, I haven't really switched sponsors ever.
Yeah.
In my entire stunt career.
That's a huge thing.
Except for one, but it was very emotional.
And it happens.
It had to happen, though.
It happens.
I needed a lapel seat bad.
Yeah.
Like, without a lapel seat,
I would love to work with them one day. That's like my company.
That was the only one, and I didn't want to break the old relationship, which we don't need to mention the company's name.
Of course.
But, like, the lapel seat is just, you need to be locked in.
Yeah, and it is. It's such a game changer.
It was a game changer.
I love my Lapera. I'll never run another seat, like, ever.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But I think what you just said, too, with loyalty is huge. Be loyal. And if I could tell one thing, like when you were talking about earlier, what do you say to the kids when they're coming up, is it's awesome. It's such a blessing when you're first starting and these companies are realizing it. And, like, yeah, I think everybody starts off with clothes, you know, most likely. You're going to get the clothes sponsors first, or maybe small parts. But, you know, you look in your DMs and this company really wants to send you some stuff. But if you wouldn't buy that stuff with your own money, don't take it from people, is my opinion. Because I've taken clothes from people that I'm not a huge fan of the clothes, and I don't wear them. And that's that person's livelihood. So,
yeah. And they don't forget that shit.
They do not forget that shit. So, and it's like, well, I mean it, like, I'll put the clothes on and I'll go ride in it, and then I'm taking that shirt off and I'm not wearing it out. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get your clips in it that you agreed with. Don't, like I said earlier, don't overpromise. If you tell some company you're going to do something, just do it. But if you're not going to, like, rock that, or if you're going to put a part on your bike because they're sending it to you and not because you want that part, if you're not reaching out, they're like, hey, I came out with this part. I would really like, and there's a line there too, like R&D stuff, you know, I'm trying to test this part out. Can you put it on your bike and try it out and let me know what you think? There's a difference there. But, like, if they're like, we see something in you and we want my parts on your bike because they want the exposure, but you wouldn't run that with your own money and your own time, like, just really think about it. Don't accept everything right away, because these people are, that's what happens later on, or earlier when we were talking, is you're going to take stuff from these companies and they're not going to get what they're expecting back. And then the dude that actually wanted that part is going to slide in the DMs and he's not going to get it because some dude took it. And it's not, and like I said, it's cool. It's awesome. Like, I still get a couple DMs every once in a while, like companies with clothes, and I'm very blessed. But, like, now I'm really, really close with a couple of people that run clothing companies. And I'm like, I have a lot of shirts.
I can't take your thing.
Yeah, and it's like,
product.
And sometimes I'll shoot them my friends. Like, do that. Help your boys out. Be like, hey, my boy's coming up. I think he's going to be, you know, next big fucking dude or whatever. I think it would be very beneficial to your company if you laced him up now and rocked with him for a while. Shoot it over to your buddy. Shoot it over to a dude you think that deserves it. And yeah, that's like the easiest way for me to explain sponsors, stuff like that.
Why do you think sponsors is such a big topic in our niche?
Well, I mean, I don't think a lot of people that ride really understand what a sponsorship is, if that makes sense. Because there's flow, like getting flowed stuff, and then, you know, to me, if a company sends you a couple t-shirts, like, yeah, they blessed you with clothes. That is awesome. Thank you so much. But you're not, like, sponsorship to me is like what Ravi does for me, you know? Like, I couldn't even explain to you how much, I don't want to know how much that bill was to frame my bike and put it back together. Like,
so do you think it's the dollar signs?
It's
like
not
how much
exactly a dollar sign, but it's,
or do you think it's the relationship?
It's a relationship. It comes down to what you're doing for each other more than just, like, you know, a company gives you a couple shirts, you throw the shirt on, you post a video for them. That's a business transaction at the end of the day, you know, like, they're hoping that they're going to get sales and you got a free shirt, and that's cool. But, like, to me, like, a sponsorship, like a real sponsorship, is repetition, building that, getting to the point to where you're like Willie Woo from Pro One is my boy. Like, I'll call Willie's personal number and he'll answer it. Like, that's like a sponsorship to me. And you're talking to these people that you were so scared to talk to, terrified. You're like, friends. You don't want to shoot that DM. You're all nervous they're gonna shoot you down. To homies, like, I'll call Willie and be like, hey, we're gonna go ride or whatever. And freaking marketing manager for Pro One Performances out at the lot, kicking it with us. And that is like, that's a real sponsorship, is having that relationship with the company more than just that initial business transaction.
No, absolutely.
I think
I don't even want to work with people that I can't talk to.
Exactly.
Like, I really don't. It's just
getting to the comfortable point to where, hey, dude, and I'll joke with them, like, SBC exhaust, I got on with them the next day. Like, I literally put my pipe on. The next day I crashed, destroyed the pipe.
Oh, no.
Destroyed it. And I called him and I was like, hey, man. Like, I was thinking, I'm screwed. Like, they're going to be so pissed.
Yeah, they just gave me a pipe.
And the story was really funny. I don't know if I should share it, but what happened was very, very entertaining. And I explained it to him. So you get to that point where it's like you're not nervous to tell them that, hey, man, I've spilled. Like, some of these companies are really, really cool, and they understand you're a stunt rider. You're going to crash your bike. Their parts are not going to last forever on your bike. So you can call them and be like, dude, I crashed my bike, and I smoked your pipe. I don't want to do this. Like, I know you just gave it to me. And they're, dude, no worries. Like, that's a sponsorship. When you're comfortable enough to ask, like, don't use people, don't abuse that power, but like when you get really locked in with the company and they really appreciate what you're doing for them, and you are like at your core appreciating what they're doing for you, that's a sponsorship to me.
Yeah.
I think.
Have you ever had any negative relationships with sponsors? You don't have to mention their name.
Yeah, I had a little one with. So when my bike was first getting done with TRAVIS, like when everything was dialed, I had this company that we were working with, and they were all about it, all on board, and nothing against them. I think their products are still amazing. I'm not going to say the name, but I think their products are amazing. I think just the way that situation got handled left a bad taste in my mouth, and it actually opened up a better opportunity for me. So my bike was getting done. We shot our shot at this company. They were all about working with us. Born Free was coming up. My bike was supposed to be in their booth. And when the time came, I didn't get the part that I needed. So I put my bike together right when it got painted all that teal and white, like blasted their logo huge on the fairing, like, I was about it. I was very, very, like, I was still in that time. Yeah, I was really in that time of, like, that was all new to me. Like, working with companies was new. So I was so excited that this massive company was so about working with me that I was like, I want to go above and beyond for these people. And so I blasted their logo. I feel like I represented their brand pretty well. And I almost said it, but the part didn't show up. And I ended up buying one with my own money. For this
From
company,
them?
No, like
or
one that somebody had. I ended up purchasing.
Like a used one.
Yeah, well, it was brand new, but somebody had one in stock, so I purchased the pipe. My bad, but
I'll cut that out.
So I ended up purchasing the part and put it on my bike, and I feel like I did. Not trying to be like egotistical, but I did a very good job of representing their company, doing what I was promising them when we pitched it. And like I said, their logo was massive on my bike. So if anybody wants to deep dive, they can probably find out what I'm talking about. And no, I ran the part that I paid for a long time and never got followed through with what I got promised. So
damn. Do you think that was a communication thing?
No, we were very adamant about.
Or do you think there should have been a contract signed? What do you think would have helped in that specific situation?
I don't really know what. I think that was more of a inside that, like, their problem. And I've talked to people that worked with those not those people, but them. Mm-hmm. It's been similar experiences, and it's not anything against them, but I've heard that they were going through stuff at that time. So I'm not taking that relationship to heart anymore. It sucks. I would have loved to work with them. I think they make great products, but I'm in such a better position.
That's why it's so hard for me to switch companies or
it is.
Like sponsors, because once you're locked in we almost had the same exact thing happen to us. I'm not going to mention any specifics, but we were going to let go of a sponsor that we've been loyal to, but this is just a bigger brand, and we just...
It's hard. It's scary.
Oh, dude, they have more parts. They could help us out with other larger price ticketed items and possibly provide more opportunity for us. And they're promising all this stuff, all these things. Like, like this, that, posting us and sharing pictures of us. I'm talking about us being Bruce and I.
Yeah, of course.
And then nothing. And we're like, thank God we didn't tell our current partnership that we were like, hey, you know, we're moving on, we're going on. Like, thank you for working with us for so many years. But like, dude,
it's a hard pill to swallow when you're thinking about doing that too, because you don't. I had to struggle with that a lot too, with that situation, because I was so excited that they wanted to work with me, and I was in it. It's a big company, so I'm like, you know, and you don't want to do that to people, but then I got explained from a couple other people that it's
not personal.
It's not personal, and it ended up not working out.
No, but
I'll never drag that company's name down, like physically, because I think that they still do good stuff, and I just honestly, it was a blessing, because then I got put in the position now that I'm with Greg at SPC, and I wouldn't be there without that rough time. You really have to like think about yourself at that time too, because it might be a scary thing, like you said, especially if it's a big company, like you were saying. You don't want to distance yourself, because then people are gonna be like, oh, what happened, or what? Like, it's not just you in that company. It goes down to like, why isn't that on your bike anymore? And you have to explain it to people. And I don't want to drag anybody's name down, and I don't want to talk about, you know,
politics.
Yeah. So it's like, it's more than just you letting go of that, but you really do have to like sit there and think about yourself. Like, do I want to keep dealing with this?
Dude, no. So when it gets down to the point where you've been sponsored by someone super long, and then you get a bigger opportunity, it is not just about yourself anymore. It's about your friendship.
Yeah.
And it's like you're friends with these people, but like, I guess you do kind of have to think of yourself, but at the same time, you love that person, you know? And it's like, it's going to be heartbreaking, you know? Just switching from...
It's like literally breaking up in a relationship.
Yeah, no,
like,
absolutely.
It's the same
like
exact
switching
thing.
seat companies, that ruined a friendship.
Yeah. For sure.
It like straight up ruined, like, we don't talk to that person anymore.
And it sucks.
I know, and it's like, it's heartbreaking, but fucking... That's why I would never switch if it wasn't a performance-based thing.
Yeah.
If that seat before wasn't holding me back from progression and Bruce, then we wouldn't have switched. We would have just stuck with it. And I'm sure we could have dealt with it, but it's, as you know.
Of course,
a game changer.
It's a game changer.
So,
I love that seat.
You know, we kind of had to.
Yeah.
In that moment. But
that's you guys, like, really sitting there, like, this is for us.
Well, and then I had to build a relationship with LePera before I trusted them enough to switch.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm like, and that happened, man.
They're good people. I like Dante.
Other sponsors have tried to talk me out of being with certain other companies, and I'm like, I can't, dude. I'm like, I'm. These are my friends, you know, and they're like offering me the world. I'm like, I can't trust you. Like,
that's also
what if I make the jump and then you're like, psych, or, you know, kind of pull out like the company you were talking about.
Yeah, that's huge too. To like bring that to a company and be like, I'm very brand loyal, and have that proof. Like, I've had that. You're not gonna like put it in their face. Like, I've had opportunities for better, but you're like, I've stuck with you guys and I've been there long term. And to take that to a company and know that they're not just getting, 1 year this guy's gonna get a better opportunity when he gets better or progresses, and then he's gonna bail. Like, no, like I'm hitting you up because I really believe in your product. That's the biggest thing, is don't lie to them. Don't tell people stuff that you think they want to hear just because you want to sound good to get their stuff. Be honest. Like, if you truly believe in their product and you want to run it, shoot your shot and be like, hey, I would love to ride for you guys at some point. I'm not 100% sure if it's exactly what I'm looking for. I would love to try the part out. Some people are not down for that, but it works sometimes. Throw it on, run it, and then shoot your shot with them and be like, hey, I 100% believe in your product. I think you guys are great people, and I want to build this relationship, and run it and go from there. It doesn't have to be like parts necessarily. I guess you could do like that with like helmets or whatever.
Dealerships.
Yeah, that's like pitch it.
Yeah.
Shoot your shot, and I'm bad about that. I still get nervous. I don't want to get rejected like we talked about earlier. But what are they going to say? They're going to say no.